Some people book you for a retwist. Charisma booked me for her wedding day. But it wasn't just her. Her pops, my longtime client, came in first for a cleanup. Then the next morning, it was go time for her. Here's the twist though. Before this moment, I had never styled a woman's locks professionally. And Charisma, she don't let anybody just touch her hair. She literally crocheted her own locks. So this wasn't just a retwist. It was a test, a trial run to see if I even qualified to do her hair on one of the biggest days of her life. For free hair services, click on the link below. All right, so we're going to talk about the first time that Charisma came through to get her locks done. This right here was that time. And technically, I think this was her testing me to see if I was qualified to do her hair for her wedding. Now, the way I found out about her was through her pops, Julio. I've been cutting his hair for like years, but I've never done her locks before, and she's never let anybody else work on her head. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Your boy was a little nervous here. So by the time she came in, she had already shampooed her hair and I was able to skip it. But this service wasn't light. Hear me out. This was the first time she had ever let somebody else style her hair. And let me tell you, I could feel just a little bit of that tension. And for me, like I had already mentioned, I had never done a woman's hair before. I mean, I've cut my mother's hair, but she wanted it really, really low. And I've gotten the opportunity to cut my great aunts back in Puerto Rico, but both of them don't have locks. And so you know now that this is a whole different level, because if I mess this up, not only am I not doing the wedding, I'm probably gonna get dropped by Julio. I mean, straight up. Because what man wants to go back to the barber that messed up his daughter's hair? So I knew I couldn't play it safe. Every twist, every part, every edge, it's like her locks were looking back at me like, you ready or not? This wasn't just a regular retwist, this was her wedding preview. Not the day of, but close enough to count. Her pops had been my client for a minute, but this was different. This was the daughter, the bride. Even though he's not there the entire time, because he did stop by for a little minute, I just felt like eyes were on me. But honestly, I respect it. Because whether your wedding is 300 people deep or just a few people in the backyard, you still deserve to feel top tier. Hair gotta be laid, edges gotta be sharp, confidence gotta be at 1,000. And the thing about me, if I'm going to be the one to set the tone for a moment that important, I'm going to bring full intention to the chair. So by this point in the service, I'm fully locked in to what it is that I'm doing behind the chair. But let me tell you what conversation broke out. This girl had the audacity to say that today's R&B artist got it over the legends. She's talking Burn Fire, she's talking Kalani, Leon Thomas, and of course, Chris Brown is still in the mix. And I'm like, what? I'm here just speechless. You're really gonna sit here in this barbershop and disrespect Usher, Babyface, Boyz II Men, 112, Pretty Ricky? I might have to give up this wedding gig. But you know what, guys? I humbled myself real quick because after thinking about it, that Brent Faiyaz Wasteland album was pretty cold. That joint was cold. I can't even lie. And I get it. We all got our own biases. You know, we all got that R&B that we came up on for our first love, family parties, heartbreaks, all that. So I'm going to go ahead and just respect her point of view. But it is quite insane to say what she said. That debate got a little heated. So I ain't gonna even trip. Honestly, it made me realize I might have to update my musical palette just a little bit. What y'all think? Is the 90s and early 2000s R&B still undefeated? Or is this new era really pushing the culture forward? Y'all gotta let me know. So after I finished the retwist, I had to decide what kind of style is going to work best for her. I didn't want to go full barrels. Her locks had a little unevenness, especially towards the ends, and I didn't want to force a style that wasn't going to hold. So instead, I went with something inspired by the barrel twist look, more like 2 rolled back sections towards the back. I'm gonna go ahead and let the styling experts decide if we call this half barrels or baby barrels, so y'all let me know what y'all think. But let me tell you why I didn't go full barrel twist, besides the fact that it was uneven. See, Charisma has some breakage going on. She told me she bleached her hair from home. To all my ladies listening, I'm pretty sure y'all know that bleach don't play. Yo, even when done properly, bleach is always risky. But doing it solo, from home, Yeah, that's where the damage crept in. And I could feel it. So some of the locks near the occipital bone were shorter, and it was making it harder for me to wrap everything back tightly. You feel me? That's the part where all the weight builds up as you're constructing the style. So I had to really finesse this with the rubber bands. Plus, y'all already know this detail. She's tender-headed. So I'm over here walking on a tight line between keeping the style secure and not making her tap out from the tension. Now, the style came out nice. Like visually, it worked. It framed her face well. It gave her a polished look. But while I'm looking at it, I'm already thinking ahead like, yeah, nah. This ain't wedding material. It's a great style for the everyday, but for a day that's supposed to stop traffic, nah, this ain't the one. I needed something with presence, something elegant, something that hits from across the room. Now at this point, I didn't know for sure if I was going to do her hair for the big day. And being that this day was just a trial run to see if I was qualified to do her wedding hair. And the pressure was on because if I don't deliver, that's a wrap. She's gone. But you know what? At the end of all this, Charisma walked away. She seemed like she was happy. She even laid her edges down. I had to go across the street real quick to pick up the toothbrush. As y'all can see, she's got a freaking toothbrush that she's laying her edges down with. But I'm not surprised. I got a teenage daughter. And all I realized at that moment was that I need to step my game up. If I'm going to be doing ladies' hair, especially possibly for their wedding, I need to at least know how to lay some edges down. But we all know why we're here. We're here because I actually did get qualified for the wedding day hairstyle. So a few months passed, guys, and I'll never forget, I was in the car line waiting to pick my daughter up, and I got the text that she wanted me to be the one to do her hair. I even got some reference pictures, and when I saw the reference pictures, I just thought to myself, you know what? I'm gonna snap on this. I got no other choice. I gotta do it. So the big day finally came, and not only am I doing her hair, it ended up being a house call too. But it's all good. I came fully prepared. I was already feeling way more confident than the first time. Because truth is, that first visit always sets the tone. You're building trust, learning their scalp, learning their vibe. You're still getting a feel for what works. But this time, let me tell y'all, I was already in the zone. I already knew what I was doing, and I just really felt like I knew how to move with her hair. I was one with the hair at this point. And listen, that energy in the room was pure joy. Family everywhere, somebody getting makeup done over here, hair getting laid over there, music playing. It was one of those spaces that just felt full of love. Like it was an honor to be in a room and not just working in it. You know, it was like everybody's one, everybody's working on something, everybody's got conversations about the past, talking about Charisma when she was a kid and whatnot, and how all of a sudden she's getting married. So I'm not even a fly in the room. I'm a professional in the room. Y'all hear me? I'm not even using clippers. Y'all feel what I'm saying? I'm not even using clippers on this day. Now, the style that we ended up locking in was the petals, which is crazy because when she first messaged me, that's the exact example picture that she sent. So listen, I never even told her no. I couldn't hit her with the, I've never done this before, or let's play it safe. Like I straight up, even though I've never done this style, told her I'm gonna go ahead and do it. This is her wedding day. She deserves bold, she deserves elegant, and the petals with the 2 strands hanging down the sides, straight fire. Oh, and I don't know if y'all can peep it, but she ended up coloring her bleached ends, which I thought was a really smart move. Not because I don't like bleached locks, because I do, but in her case, her hair was already a little damaged, and she knew she didn't want to keep up with the bleach long term. So instead of constantly fighting those dry ends, she colored it black and just let the natural growth do its thing. And if you're watching this with bleached locks that feel rough right now, listen, don't be out here thinking that the only option is to chop it off. You can absolutely trim your locks. Don't let anybody convince you otherwise. A little trim can bring your whole style back to life, and trust me, it's a lot easier than cutting them off and starting all over again, or even trying to crochet them back later, which is gonna cost you some cash. So before you make that drastic move, ask yourself, do I just need a little refresh? Or am I actually ready to let these locks go? Sometimes it's not a full reset you need. Sometimes you just need to clean it up. All right, so at this point, I'm done with the retwist, and now it's time to style. We're going for an updo, which means that the placement gotta be locked in from the jump. If you bring the hair too far forward, she's gonna look like she's got a helmet on, and if you bring it too far back, she's out here looking like Sonic. I don't wanna do either. So I had to find the perfect midpoint, not just for the style, but for the whole look to frame her face right. Once I got that tension on point, I locked it down with a rubber band, not too tight, not too loose, just enough to hold the elevation before I started crafting the petals. Now, for those of you that don't know, a petal style is all about folding the locks like loops or flower petals. You're taking one lock and forming it into 2 to 3 curls, securing each loop with a small band to keep the petal shape. It's repetitive, it's precise, and if you mess up the tension or the symmetry, the whole style will start to fall apart. You don't want that. So for her length, I mostly did 2 to 3 petals per lock, and I maintained 2 different types of rubber bands with me. The bigger black bands that I usually wear on my wrist, and the 1/2-inch 14mm black rubber bands from Annie, the ones that come in like a 500 count bag. So those small ones are clutch for securing petals without adding too much bulk, and they kept everything smooth and controlled. But here's where things started to feel different. As I was working, I could hear the family start reacting. Talking about, you did that, she looks beautiful, wait till she walks down that aisle. Man, let me tell you, that energy started flooding the room, and I was just in my zone. Folding, looping, locking in. I'm over here feeling like I'm just part of something bigger than just a style. I was just showing up for the family and making sure that Charisma looked like the queen she is, you feel me? By this point, I had already done the full inspection and everything looked clean, but I still wanted to make sure it felt complete. Even while Charisma was checking herself out in the mirror, I was right behind looking for ways to improve the look. And that's just how I am, I swear to you. If I see one last tweak that can elevate the whole look, I'm gonna do it. So I ended up lowering some of the petals in the back. They were out here looking a little stiff, just sitting there too high up. I wanted more flow, more natural drop. So I ended up repositioning a few of them, letting them fall smoother. And that to me made a huge difference. After that, it was a wrap. The whole look came together, clean, elegant, just enough personality. The family absolutely loved it. I loved it, and Julio loved it. Listen, man, Julio was hyped. He was all smiles, and yes, I'm still cutting his hair. Most importantly, Charisma got to walk down that aisle looking like a whole movement. Heads were turning. That hairstyle was giving wedding day power, like she owned that space. So congratulations to you and your wife, Charisma. I'm honored that you trusted me with your hair on such a meaningful day, for real. And listen, if you're in the Tampa Bay area and you're looking to get your hair done, my name is YoFonzz. I'm the local bartician. That's a barber/loctician. Make sure you click on the link below for a free haircut.